Hey, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Go Time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask if you can all stay off of this raised up stage area. This way, nobody blocks the display, and I got a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing. All right, now, also, if I can draw your attention to that menu wheel in your lower left, you're going to notice that there is a microphone icon at the very top of that menu wheel. It looks kind of like this, right? When that microphone icon is clear, you are going to you will be able to hear everything that's happening in your environment. So we've gone ahead and we've turned that to red, and this means that you're muted. And that effectively means if somebody comes into your space and says, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" We're not going to hear that. So feel free to answer them. Or maybe you got a dog barking in the background. You're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the dog, the avatar that started, this dog started barking during its go time. Now, just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You can and should use this pink smiley emoji in your menu wheel. And when you click on that, you're going to notice that your emoji panel opens up in front of you, right? I see a lot of you are already familiar with this. Right? And if I share something real deep, something real personal, real meaningful, something that's really going to just touch everybody right down here, and you feel it starting to well up inside, you can just let it out. Just let it flow just like that, right? And maybe, just maybe, I got backup dancers backstage, right? And they, come on, we break out into It's Go Time, the musical, and you're all really impressed. You can throw up the applause I live for, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, now, also, if I ask you guys a yes or no question, you can say yes by smiling like this. You can say no by frowning like this. And if I say something funny or something funny happens, you want to, laugh, you do the silly face emoji to show that you're laughing, right? And then there's this. All right, this is not how you ask a question. This is how you alert my attention if something's gone wrong. Like earlier at Quest Time, we had bubbles coming up out of the stage, and that looks like that could be a problem. One time they set our screen on fire. Moderators, I'm telling you, they come in here and they get these ideas for the special effects, and sometimes it gets a little out of hand. And if I see fire, yeah, it's true, Fury. You know what you did. You know.
I know you are.
Where are you? The voice coming out from beyond. You're haunting the stage again. I know it. I know you're down there. Throw some up like emojis so people can see where you are. I think I'm talking to myself. They're like, that guy's got two voices. What's up with that? Show me some emojis. Where are you?
I just did. I'm back here.
I didn't see him. Oh, you just, okay. The stage is all haunted. All right, enough of that. All right, so if you press the X, it's going to close the emoji panel. But it's a good idea to leave it open during events like this because it gives you some idea of how I'm doing. But more importantly, it's going to let the people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So the person next to you is going like this. That means they found something funny, and you may not agree. You might be like, well, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can totally do that because this is VR. All right, now, Go Time is an event for Oculus Go users, but all are welcome. So if you're on another device, feel free to hang out. You may pick up some useful information that's going to help our Go community that's in Altspace. There's a lot of Go users in Altspace, more arriving all the time. All right. And yes, I see you waving there, RTR. Yes, I see you. I see you. Hi, how's it going? I like your green shirt. That's very nice. All right. Now, being on a Go, let me tell you, there are some challenges. And speaking of challenges, I've been in bed for about the past 2 years due to a medical condition. It's gotten a lot better. But when I first got my headset, I could not wait to get in here. You guys remember that feeling when you first put on that headset, right? That feeling of being transported to another world. It's like you're really here, right? I was really excited to experience that. And I've been reading about Altspace for a while. And so this was my first stop. And the very first thing I did when I came out of the load screen for the very first time, I came out and I looked up. And when I looked up, I didn't see these wood beams here. I saw the sky. And that looked a lot like the sky that I remembered in the real world, right? And I was very grateful for this. I was so grateful. I started moderating and volunteering for Altspace on my very first day, right? And I found out that I wasn't making it through entire events because my battery wouldn't last. Right. So I started asking around. I was like, because I got to fix this because I have to charge up. I'd have to track down the event host and explain why I flaked out. I got off to kind of a rocky start in Altspace, right? But I kept on trying and I kept on asking questions. I kept learning a lot. And that's what eventually led to us having this event so I can share what I learned with all of you, right? But I did hear some things in the beginning. Like I heard that on an Oculus Go, they said I wouldn't be able to work this laser pointing. You know what? That turned out to not be true. I absolutely could do it, right? Also, in addition to that, right? I was told that I wouldn't, you see the slides back here behind me? I was told that I wouldn't be able to operate these slides on an Oculus Go, and that turned out to not be true. And I was told that despite having a background presenting material like this in the real world, that my device wasn't reliable enough for me to host events in Altspace. And you know what? That turned out to not be true. I hosted, many events for many months very successfully on an Oculus Go, and you can too. All right. because you can make it super reliable. Right now, there's two approaches you can take. Because it's not to say there aren't problems, being on the go. There absolutely are, but most of them are solvable, and the ones that aren't are manageable. All right, and I'm going to show you how to do that. There's two paths you can take. One, you can start out with the device that you already have on your head. You're going to learn some stuff here today before you even leave. It's going to improve your experience in Altspace. Right. In addition to that, you can upgrade your experience to exceed the limitations of your device. And I say it like that because listen. That term gets thrown around a lot. A lot of terms you hear like limitations, you hear words like weaker device, inferior device. I can't stand that stuff. Because listen, if somebody tells you every single day they don't like your shirt, like, listen, I don't really like your shirt, Archie. I've never liked that shirt. And I tell you that every day, after a while, you're going to start thinking, it's not the shirt they don't like, right? It doesn't make you feel good when you hear that, does it? Right? And it turns out, listen, the Oculus Go is an amazing device. It's a great entry level into VR, right? We can get used to it without worrying about the complexities of the controls and all that. If you have a question on our channel, if you heard this in the beginning, we'll be taking them at the end, so just hang on, okay? We'll be doing that at the end there. But if you're hearing that every day, it's important to remember there's another word that gets tossed around Altspace an awful lot, and that's communities. There's a lot of rich and diverse communities that are in Altspace, and you have to remember that your headset is just the vehicle that brings you into VR. You're the important part of that equation, right? You're not your headset any more than you are your house and your car or anything like that, and it's important to keep that in mind if you hear terms like that being thrown around. All right, let's start out with the device you already have on your head, right? What can you do right now to make things better, right? Now, you may not realize this, but when your device isn't being used, it loses power, right? And this goes for you Quest users too. If you're not using your device, it's going to lose power, right? And while it's being drained out, you got, it's checking for app updates, it's checking for firmware updates. Maybe your headset's got a pen pal on the other side of the world. Maybe your headset has a secret life that, and nobody even knows about, right? What's this, you're on the stage? Look at that. Look at that, you're in the wall. Coming out of the wall, man. It's just weird. High five right there for being on the stage. All right, cool. All right, good luck with that. You look like you're kind of stuck though. That looks painful. All right, so where was I? I lost my place. I'm on the stage. All right, yeah. Actually, hang on just a minute. I got a bit coming up. You'll be perfect for it. You're perfect with that hat. Just hang on. All right. So when your device say gets down to 20% power, you're going to notice you come into Altspace on 20% power. Your screen is going to flicker around a lot. It's going to affect your performance, right? So it's your responsibility, it's your job to make sure that before you come into Altspace, you have 100% battery power or as close to that as you can manage. Right? What I mean by this is like, so you look at the event schedule, you see what's coming up tonight. You see, oh, look, we got go time. I've heard great things about the host. I've heard he's got this hair and he's got this shirt that you're starting to see everywhere, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure you charge up that device about an hour before you come into Altspace. Right. And when you get in Altspace, you come out of the little screen, you may have noticed already what an important role body language plays in Altspace. Like if you're in an event like this and somebody comes up to you and they're shaking their head like this, they're going like this at you, right? That means don't do that thing, right? Or maybe I'm up here on the stage. Hey, here's your moment, Colton. Here's your moment. All right, somebody makes it on the stage, right? And I come on over and I'm going like this with my hand without saying, right? That means get off of my stage, doesn't it, right? I don't have to say a word to do that. But occasionally in Altspace, you're going to notice, right, that your hand, your real world hand might be here. Your avatar's hand might be up here. And when it doesn't match like that, when I go over to Colton, who's gone? Oh no, how will I do this bit? All right, well, if you go up to somebody and you go like this to say get off the stage like that, your avatar's hand is so far off, it might be waving around like this, and then it just looks like I'm saying, hey, everybody, welcome to Go Time, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying, stay off my stage, it's a dangerous place, right? So what you want to do, oh, now you're back. Colton, you just ruined the whole timing of it. It's just ruined. This was your moment. You could have been Altspace famous and you blew it. Okay, that's fine. All right, so what can happen now is what you want to do is if you look straight ahead, you're going to notice that on your controller you have a trackpad, and below that you have a button, and below that you have a button. If you look straight ahead and you bend your elbow like this and you hold your arm at your side like this, all right, now listen, don't do this now. If you press that bottom button one time, you're going to disappear on me and I'm going to feel it, right? This button, it's the best way out of VR. It's sort of like an eject button. And if you press it by accident, you can press resume, right? But this button does something else. If you look straight ahead and you have your arm bent at your side and you press and hold that button down, you're going to see a white circle spin in the air, right? And then all of a sudden, you're going to see your hand snap into place. And when it does, take a good look at your hand and ask yourself, is this where my hand is in the real world? If it is, you're good, right? Then, you keep on going, right? Now, your body language will be a lot more convincing. If it's not, just do the process again until it feels comfortable, and only you can determine what's comfortable for you, all right? That'll help out a lot with that. Now, also, you're going to notice from time to time in Altspace that your menu wheel, those collection of circles in your lower left, you're going to notice that moves around sometimes. And sometimes it can move into places that are hard to reach, like maybe it moves behind you, right? It's important to remember that on Oculus Go, your main menus are in your hands at all times, right? On your controller, just below your trackpad, is a button, right? That button, when you press on it, it's going to open your main menu. When you press it again, it's going to close your main menu. But this also does something else too. If you're looking straight ahead and you press that button one time and your menu opens, you keep looking straight ahead and you press that button again, your menu closes, you're going to notice that the menu wheel circles on your lower left have gone back where they belong. All right, so if it's like maybe right in front of you and you're feeling a little off balance, just open and close your menu very quickly by using that button there, and you'll, and then I'll take care of that. All right, now, one of the best pieces of advice I got in the very beginning when I was losing power was people told me to turn down my brightness. I did not want to do it. I wanted to have the best graphic experience I could possibly have in Altspace. And to me, that meant having my brightness turned way up to retina burning levels. I mean, it was painful, but my graphics were awesome. Or so I thought, right? Because after a while of losing power in all the events, when I started to listen, I figured I'd give it a try. So at the Oculus main menu, I went to the settings tab on the right-hand side, and then I went over, in the middle where it said brightness, and I turned auto brightness off. And then there's this big blue bar that shows what your brightness is, and mine was way up. And every time I came into Altspace, I turned it down a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until finally there was no blue left at all, right? My brightness was completely off. And I went into Altspace, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Back then, we held an event in this space where they had this big tree off to the side, right? And I went in the event, and all the moderators would hang out, before the event started, we'd hang out by that tree. And I looked up, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Like the tree, it looked so real. The graphics were incredible. So if you turn your brightness all the way down, not only are you going to experience better graphics, which is amazing, better performance, which is also amazing, but your battery is going to last longer. And at this point, I started to make it all the way through events. And I found out that people hung out after events and wanted to be a part of that too. And I kept on going, right? So I needed more power, right? So what I did was I kept, experimenting. Now listen, one of the reasons that Oculus Go users get kind of a bad reputation is because our microphones are incredibly powerful, right? They're very strong. And what happens is the sound comes out of your ear straps and it gets picked up by the microphone and it gets projected out through your avatar into Altspace. So what's happening is, like, let's say you're a brand new user and you're coming to the campfire first time and you see all these avatars are over there and they're all talking. You go over there and you want to see what they're talking about, and they're standing there, they're talking, they're hanging out. They're like, hey, what's going on? How you doing, Michael? It's a great name. Love that name. Love that name. And then maybe use it myself. We got Ebony Mouse. We got Cernave here. We're all talking and we're hanging. And this new avatar comes walking over, right? And that avatar hasn't said a word yet, right? He's walking over there like this. Not saying a word, brand new user. And then all of a sudden, right, all the avatars turn and they face him and they come at him and they go, "Are you want to go? Are you want to go?" Well, that can feel pretty off-putting when it happens to you, right? But what they're experiencing is something pretty off-putting too. They're standing here and they're hanging out, and they're having their conversation, right? And what they're gonna be having, look up. I'm being told to look up. Oh no, another fire in the studio. Okay, all right, nobody panic. I think it's gonna be contained for a little while. All right, unbelievable. It's moderators. Things I have to put up with in here. But what happens is, the sound is coming out of, their ear straps and going out to the microphone. So what happens is they're hearing their own voice coming out of someone else's avatar, as it was in the past, because there's a sound delay. And that can be kind of off-putting when that happens. Fortunately, it's really easy to fix this. On your headset, you're going to, top left side, you've got two buttons, right? One's the volume down button, and one's the volume up button. And when you press either of those, you're going to see these vertical bars appear in the air in front of you. Some will be solid, some will be clear. What you're going for here is 4 clear bars on the right side. When the volume is set at this level, the sound coming out of the ear straps won't be picked up as easily by the microphone. And you're going to notice people are starting to be nice for you right away because they're going to be able to have a conversation with you. One great way to fix this is to get a pair of headphones and hook it up to your device, right? And this will ensure that the only sound coming out of your avatar is your own. In my case, my wife went to the library and she got this audio book, right? And they gave her a pair of free earbuds, right? And these earbuds were, she came home, she was very excited, and she showed me, look what I got. Right? And well, they disappeared, right? And good news, they reappeared a short time later and, attached to my headset and they remain there to this day. And, and after that, the only sound coming out of my avatar was my own, but occasionally you could still hear my wife saying, "Hey, are you still on that thing?" Right? And we fixed that too. We got her headset turned. She's a very talented world builder, and she's a pretty good moderator, but she's not trying to burn down this set. Can you put that fire out, please? I'm getting nervous. Can everybody else see that fire up there? I don't think it's showing up on YouTube, but come on. Get rid of that fire. It's making me nervous. Right by the fan, too. Talk about fanning the flame. All right. So, but when I added these earbuds to my device, it got me thinking, what else could I add to the device that would improve my experience? And I came up with what I call a Go Plus experience. And I call it this because, listen, I'd go to other worlds, very heavily performant, had a lot going on in there, and other Go users would disappear into the floor, they'd fall down, we've all seen that, or they'd disappear as they crash, and I would still be standing there. It was pretty, wait, what is that? Okay. Yeah, that's weird. All right, so yeah, I heard. So basically, I would still be standing there, and it's because I made these changes to the device I'm about to discuss. And before I discuss them, to do that, I'm going to have to discuss these products up here. But I like to say these are not the only products that work. These are just the ones that I've used and I feel comfortable recommending. But it's the ideas behind these products that matter. And if you want to try any of them, so listen, it's hard to write stuff down in VR. It's like, what's that he say? Write that down. You don't need to do that. We made it super easy to get. What you can do is if you go to altvr.com, in the upper left, you're going to see where it says channels. And when you press on that, you're going to see all these Altspace event channels that are listed. And there, down towards the bottom, you're going to see Ravenhole events, like it says on the sound booth there. And when you click on that, that's our event channel. And on the left-hand side, you're going to see all these products. If you want to try any of them out, there are links there. There's also a join Discord button if you want to help us put on events like this. And there is also the most important button on the internet, subscribe button. We don't get paid to do this, and it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. So if you have a good time today and you want to say thank you, that's a great way to do it, because every time that number goes up, we feel good. All right, now these products very quickly. The first thing that I wanted to address was my power problem. And I found the Anker Power Core battery pack. Now, Oculus says it's not a good idea to use our headsets when they're plugged in, but they say it is okay to use an external battery. So I started there. Now, this one's supposed to last for about 16 hours, right? And I figured that'd be great because I'd never need to be, in VR for like 16 hours, right? Because, food, water, sleep's a good thing too, right? But around this time that I got this, I heard people were starting to have problems charging their device. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when you plug in your device, that port can be kind of tight, right? And I think over time, as that connection gets loose, it doesn't make a proper contact and it doesn't charge as effectively. So I found this really cheap $7 US MagSafe cable here, right? And one tip plugs into the battery, one tip plugs into the headset, and it's held in place by a magnetic connector, so no more wear and tear on the port, right? It's also a cool safety feature too, because if you turn your head, there's bubbles coming out of the floor. Hurry, come on, look at this. All right, maybe we washed the carpeting before you guys came, and we used too much soap. Maybe that's what's going on there. All right, sometimes we give the moderator special effects and they get a little carried away. All right, but yeah, you plug this MagSafe cable into your headset. Really, Fury, come on. You plug this MagSafe cable into the headset there, and when the tip goes on, right, it's held in place by a magnetic connector. It's a great safety feature because if you turn your head too suddenly and it pops off, right, once it pops off, you don't even have to come out of VR to fix it. You can pick it up, hold it next to your headset, and like thunk into place. And if your microphone is open, right, you're gonna notice that when the microphone's open like that, people will be able to hear that thunk sound. They'll say, "What was that?" And you can be like, "That's pure power. That's what that was. That was absolute power." You don't have to do anything like that. I like that. I'm like, I thought it was cool. All right. Now, at this point, I had, when my power problem was solved here, right, I had a new problem, and I'm sure some of you have experienced this. I start to overheat like all the time. All right. Now, the Oculus faceplate on the Oculus Go, it's installed by hand. And that means people have different results with this. Some people overheat every half hour. Some people, I knew a guy that overheated every 2 minutes. One of the first Go times we ever had, there was a guy during the question period. He said that his headset had actually become melted. It actually became deformed because it had got so hot, the side of it got like pushed in, right? That's a picture of it. It was messed up. And I realized this was something we had to fix. Now, I heard some people were using ice packs to do this, but I didn't think that was a good idea, right? Because you put the ice on there and you got condensation, water, electricity on your face, probably not a good idea. And the people that I know who did this went through more than one headset, so I don't think it's safe to do. All right, but what we did come up with was this AC Infinity mini fan. Right, and this USB got a USB plug, so it plugs right into the battery pack there. Right, it's got 3 speeds, and it's got the silver part here that faces the faceplate. You got to figure out a way to attach it. Me, I used hairbands, like there's elastic hairbands. I know some people have used string to do it, and you get it so the silver part is facing the faceplate. If you ever watch Star Trek, you see the Borg. The first time they came and tested, I got all these wires hanging down. You get used to it, but it felt like that. I was like, talking about resistance and all those copyright, infringement things I can't say right now. But you were, I came in to test it. And on that day, I was supposed to set the moderate for the meditation event in Altspace. And that's an incredible space. It's on top of a mountain. There are these bowls with like smoke coming out, right? It's really an incredible space. And the host, Jeremy, is a super nice guy. I went up to him and I said, "Can you hear my fan?" Right? And he says, "No." And I can hear it. Whisper, quiet. You put it up like away from the microphone, nice and high. And it's really small. It's a mini fan. It fits in the palm of your hand, right? And so I got on the low and he can't hear it. So I turned it up to medium. I said, "How's that?" He says, "Not too bad. You can kind of hear a little breeze, but it's not bad." Right? And I turned it up to full blast, and he goes, "I could definitely hear that. It's like you're in a wind tunnel." So just to be safe, I turned it down to its lowest setting, and spoiler alert, I never had to turn it up again. On its lowest setting, this is what it did. I went through the 20 minutes where I would usually crash in that event. I never make it more than 20 minutes for some reason, and I made it past that. I finished the entire event, and then I went to another event to see where the line was, and I went through that entire event. Right? I didn't crash once. I didn't overheat at all, and then I went to a third event. right? And I went through that, no issues. And then I went to my home space. I hung out with my friends, right? And then it happened. I left Altspace for the very first time, right? Not because I had to, right? I left because I actually wanted to. I was tired. I had enough, right? I didn't leave because I was overheating. I didn't leave because I ran out of power. I left by choice. And it was the very first time after months of being in Altspace that had ever happened, right? And it wouldn't be the last time. After this, I started hosting events. I started moderating events. I was everywhere. Still am. And you can be too, right? All you got to do is make a few small adjustments to your headset. And none of this is very expensive, by the way. This fan here is about $10 or $11 US. This cable is about $7 US. The most expensive thing up here is the battery. That's about $50, $60 US. And they come in different sizes, colors, capacities. I see some hands floating there. No, those are not hands. Those are butterflies. Everybody see the butterflies floating? Man, my moderators must be getting really bored hearing the material over and over again and messing with me this much today. But those were blue butterflies. I don't think I've seen those before. Everybody seen this? Blue butterflies. Look at that. Very cool. All right. So you guys get the idea. So you make these changes and it's going to make your performance a lot better, right? But there's still going to be some problems. The first one I'm going to talk about is occasionally you're going to have on an Oculus Go, you're going to have a movement issue. This happens a lot. What's going to happen is, let's say I turn left to say something to Rekid, right? But instead of turning left, I go straight and I think, well, that was weird. That's not what I meant to do at all. So I go to turn right to Yi to say something about it. But instead of turning right, I go straight again. And I think, well, that was weird. So I push down on my controller to move backwards to back up. And what happens is I move straight again. And I start to panic. I start pushing all the buttons. And nothing happens. No matter what I do, I just keep going straight. And the next thing you know, I'm standing inside of an admin. There's nothing more frightening than standing inside of an admin. I saw things when I was in there too. I saw things about development, user counting. I saw all kinds of things. There's things about the past, things about the future, things I can't even talk about. What I can talk about though is how to fix this if it happens to you. Right? You take your thumb, right? And you got to remember your trackpad is sensitive to touch, because it's a touchpad, right? Heat and moisture. Right? What you want to do is, without pressing down very hard, very gently glide your thumb across from one side to the other, from right to left, from left to right, and then, which direction doesn't really matter. But when you get to the other side, lift your thumb up and cross it over the air, come down, and then swipe it very gently again. You do this 2 or 3 times, and then on the third time, right, you come down in the direction that you want to go, and you'll be moving the way you want. So basically, oh no, I keep moving straight, and it's not working. So what do? I go swipe, 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 and then I move in the direction I want to, and it'll take care of that. Okay? Another thing that can happen is you're going to come into Altspace, and this is going to usually happen when you're in a rush. Like maybe, you got to host an event, moderate an event, maybe you got a hot date, no judgments, I heard that can happen in here, right? And what's going to happen is you put your headset on, you're going to get this notice that says, can't find controller, right? A lot of butterflies in the audience. It's very distracting. All right, but what you can do is you can't find the controller, right? And you put a fresh battery in it last night, right? And when you put that fresh battery in there, you got 100%. There were butterflies everywhere. All right, man, this needs to stop. Cut it out. So yeah, you got this fresh battery in this controller, right? And what can happen is, because if you do have a low battery, you may have to replace it, and that can cause that. But what happens is, if you do have a fresh battery in there and you put on the headset and you get that notice, can't find controller, maybe your controller found out about your headset's secret life and isn't happy about it, right? And it stops speaking. What do? Right? You don't even have to take your headset off to fix this. You just got to remember 2 words: double down. That's all you have to remember. Just on your trackpad, just below those trackpad is those 2 buttons, right? If you press and hold those 2 buttons down and don't let go, what you're going to notice, right, is after about 4 seconds, a little white light's going to appear on your trackpad. Right? Now, if you're wearing your headset, you're not going to see this, but what you will see is when you lift your finger up off of those buttons, you're going to have your hand back, and you're going to get in the load screen there, and you're like, man, I sure am glad I went to Go Time. That Michael Forrest, he knew what he was talking about, right? I don't know if it was all those special effects going on, but he knew what he was talking about. And I remember Double Down. I was on time for my event. And if that happens to you, you're welcome in it. That's right. Another thing that can happen is that occasionally your screen is going to go dark. And when it does, right, this is because, listen, on all mobile devices, not just the Go, but also the Quest, you have a limited amount of memory. And when that memory fills up, your screen's going to go dark, right? And if your microphone is open, good news, it's now raining. Okay, seriously? Okay, I'm not quite sure to do this. All right, so yeah, my mods have, I guess get bored hearing the same material over and over again. But yeah, so lost my place again. Yeah, okay, so if your screen goes dark because you run out of memory, the best way to deal with it is to get ahead of this before it becomes a problem, right? So at the end of the show, when, you say, what you think? Oh, it was really great, but his moderators kept throwing him off. What do we do? All right, well, how about we go to the campfire? All you have to do is say, okay, I'll be right there. And then all you do is you hit the bottom button of the controller, the eject button, right? And then when you get the choice to quit or resume, you hit quit. And when you press on quit, right, the app will close and then you can restart it. And then you go join your friend at the campfire. The whole process takes less than a minute. But when you get to the campfire, your memory's been cleared out and you chose when it happened. So rather than have your screen go dark in the middle of a conversation, if you reset your memory every once in a while by doing this, especially if you've been hopping around different worlds in Altspace, this can help you stay ahead of the problem. Now, we do have some world building tips that we normally give out, but I'm a little bit behind schedule now, and so we're going to kind of run over here. So I'm going to skip ahead to the questions if that's okay with everybody. If anybody does want to hear these world building tips, just let me know. Throw up some heart emojis if you want to see that. If you don't, then just throw up some frowns maybe. Let's see. So we've got some people want to see it. Okay, cool. Looks like we got more. All right, cool. We'll go into it. We'll be a little late today. That's fine. All right. So let's see. If now I moderate for an event called Building Worlds on Tuesdays, right? And occasionally you're going to hear Go users there say they can't build worlds on a Go, and it's not true. These devices are capable of remarkable precision, right? And now, why do people think? Well, it's because if you're in the world's beta program and you start world building, right? And you can do this through your main menu by going to settings and by going to where it says general, and you enable the world's beta program, and this will allow you to build in your own spaces and stuff, right? But when you start messing with the world editor, you're going to notice, right, that occasionally you're going to see that you have it's whipping around like this, right? Like when you go to grab or interact with an object, it's moving all over the place. It's moving crazy, right? And after a while, you start to realize that it's your head that's actually controlling the movement. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty hard to keep a level head in any reality, let alone a virtual one, right? And what can happen is, if you open the world editor, right, at the very bottom of that world editor, you're going to see a button and that little checkbox there. It says lock rotation. And when you check lock rotation, it's going to change everything, right? Because now, if you aim at the object that you want to edit, like let's say we're going to work with this laser pointer here, right? And I aim at it and I squeeze and release the trigger one time, now it'll start moving around. I can adjust it with my hand. And as soon as I get it where I want, I squeeze and release the trigger one time while pointing at it, and it's going to lock it into place. So now it's got the rotation that I want. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. That'll work. And now if I press and hold the trigger, right, now I can move the object up, down, left, or right, and if I swipe my thumb on the trackpad, left or right, it'll change the size, the scale of the object, right? If I swipe my thumb up or down, it's going to push the object away, or it's going to bring it closer to me, all right? Or I can just carry it around and place it where I want to. Like, let's say I'm going to put it right on the edge of the stage here, like that, right? Now, if this was the real world, that would fall, right? So that's not very good. On an Oculus Go, all you have to do is get it close enough. It doesn't have to be exact, right? And what you can do is, at this point, you'd go into your world editor, right? And you look for where it says laser pointer, and next to that would be a cogwheel. And when you open up the cogwheel, you're going to see all these numbers. There's going to be numbers for rotation. There's going to be numbers for position. There's going to be numbers for the scale and the size, right? And what you want to do is you want to experiment with it a little bit, right? So let's say that, for position, the X position, it says 20. And I change that number to 19. And you see the laser pointer jumps right over here. So now I know for the rest of the items I bring into the world, anytime I lower the X value, it's going to move in that direction toward the window. Now, that must mean if I increase the value, the X value, it's going to move in that direction. And that also means that the Z, if I change the Z, it's going to move that way or it's going to move that way. And the Y is always up and down. All right. Now, when you start doing that and you start building those worlds like that, right? Now, listen, I know the little keyboard they give us to type on, right? It can be a little slow, but it's a lot like when you first start playing a video game. That first week, all you're thinking about is, what buttons do I push? You're just thinking about the controls. But in the second week, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about how to save the world, right? You're thinking about, how to crush your enemies. That's a great way to spend a Wednesday, right? And so you'll pick it up and you get faster over time. And there's a lot of talented world builders and Altspace that build on the Oculus Go, and you can be one of them too. So I'm looking forward to seeing all your work. All right, now we are going to be taking your questions now. So I'm going to make a raise hand appear in your lower right as if by magic. Let's see if I can get this set up here. All right, it's going to appear on your lower right about now. There you go. All right. Now, if you press that, you're going to get on my list, and I'll call your name out, and we'll put you on the air. I'll get to feel like a radio host there. In the meantime, while we wait to fill up, if you're on Twitter and you'd like to follow us, you can find us at Ravenhall @ uncanny valley. I know it looks like it looks like one underscore, but it's really actually two. All right, let's see. We got Rekid. What's going on? You're on the air. Where are you, Rafe?
So where can I buy the fan at, or like the cords and all that?
Wait, say this again?
Where can I buy the fan and the
Actually, you can do any kind of search on Google, but we do have links to it up on our event page if you want to link directly to it.
Ooh.
All right, and that'll go to Amazon.
Thank
so
you.
can go go there. Just by going to altvr.com and clicking channels, and you see all the Altspace event channels. Just look for Ravenhall events like it says on the sound booth. Click on that, and you can take a newer event page, and there. And don't forget to click subscribe while you're there, right? But yeah, we got the links to all those things if you want to try to give them out. All right, cool. Thanks, Rick. Let's see. We also have Archie R. Archie, you have a question or a comment or something like that? Maybe you got panel jumps around a lot. There we go. Archie, where are you? I lost you, Archie. There you are. What's going on, Archie? You have a question or a comment, anything like that? Maybe you pressed it by accident.
Can I be a moderator?
Of course, if you join our Discord and just call out, a couple hours before the event starts, we always, like people helping out. All right, so give that a try. All right, so we'll hope to see you there. The join Discord button, if you go to altvr.com, you go to our event channel, there's a join Discord button on the bottom. All right, clearly you want to help out. We also have Lady of Data. You have a question or a comment? Where are you? Okay, not seeing you. Maybe you pressed that button by accident. All right, listen, if I did not take your question, all right, don't feel bad, because after our events are over, we take everybody flying in the Ravenhall Flight Academy, and this is where I get to push this big red button, the shiny red button that I love so much. Now, at the Ravenhall Flight Academy, not only do we teach you guys how to fly, but we also have these Talon hovercrafts that you can fly, all right? And so now we end our events in style by pressing this button, and you'll see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly down along the street through the glass window there. You're pointing it out there. Yeah, it's down the road right now. It's right out there. Yeah, and it's going to fly down this street here, right? And we're going to take us out to the back there, and we'll get there in style. So I'm going to press this now. Everybody look out the window.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
There it comes. All right, everybody. Now it's going to fly up those trees, and it's going to meet us in the back. So let's head out there, right, and meet it. Now, if you've learned anything here today, right, please share those you come in contact with. So if, for example, you're in a campfire and you hear somebody say, my face is on fire because I'm an Oculus Go and I keep overheating, tell them about Go Time, tell them about our event page, right? Tell them how they can fix it by getting the fan and all that, right? And helping each other out. That's kind of how we keep this thing going. Thanks for coming, everybody. You've been a great audience. I hope to see you at the
Talon
Academy.
aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody, and I'll see you next time.